It's happening! Wag! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Fast, old Big Mek here, and indeed it is finally time for us to have our new codex to add to our pile of old codexes. Stacks on stacks on stacks! That's right, after 9 editions of the game, plus 3 supplements, it is time for the 10th edition codex to finally actually come into our hands. It was pre-released a while ago. A few people have gotten it early. Different countries have different laws and things like that as far as when pre-orders are sent, when people can have them. Not a big deal, neither here nor there, but the rest of us, the whole world, we all get to finally have the codex. And this week has just been absolutely banging for us Ork players because so much stuff has happened. We've been doing videos like crazy because of it, and it's just a really, really exciting time to be an Ork player. So if I haven't gotten my codex yet, because we're still about 2 days out of actually being able to physically have it in our hands, why am I doing yet another video on these things? Well, that's because today the Balance Dataslate finally dropped from Games Workshop. We were expecting it around today or tomorrow, and it hit, and it has all of the updated points for Orks on it. Now, if you follow the Balance Dataslates at all, you're probably really confused because the points values are very, very different from the other Balance Dataslates, and how they tell you that things have changed. If they haven't changed, it's gray. If the points have gone down, they highlight it green. If the points have gone up, they highlight it red. A lot of people notice, hey, wait, these points are very different from the last Balance Dataslate. Well, the last Balance Dataslate was Index Orks. This Balance Dataslate is the first one for Codex Orks. Now, I know this is the wrong one, but you know what I mean. So what it is when they print the codex, because they design these and they go to the printer months and months and months ago, before they've had this last Balance Dataslate, they have points in these somewhere, and there we go. And those points are already invalidated, and that's okay. It's okay. I would much rather have points that get updated multiple times per edition than have a codex printed that the points are static on it the entirety of the edition. Looking at you, 3rd edition codex. Anyways, so we do finally have the points values for all of the new data sheets, and we have the points updates on them. You can now go onto the Warhammer app, update it, and redo your list. Obviously, all the data sheets are going to disappear until you can type in your code, and that goes live in a day or two, and then you'll get all your data sheets back. But yeah, the long and the short of it is, my personal Ork army, so I keep track of 2 different things. I have my fully painted force that is completely done. They are painted, they are based, they have all their little tufts on them. I could take them to a tournament, I could take them to a painting competition, they are done. My fully painted army went from 3,475 points to 3,070 points, and from 35 units to 31 units. So I lost 4 units and 405 points. Now, it sounds, but it really isn't that bad. Obviously, I had a couple of knobs with Wog banners. Those are now just reabsorbed into my knob squad as knobs. So I still get to use those minis, and now my knob squads have actually gotten bigger. And I have some extra knobs laying around, so in reality, I'm going to get a whole nother knob squad kind of out of all of my leftover bits. But as far as like my army list that I already had ready to go, that is what has happened. My big loss was actually not any of the Legends stuff. I mean, shoot, all of my things are kit bashed anyway. I own very little real Forge World. My big thing was losing the Mek Boy Workshop. I love that kit. I've had it since the day it came out, and yeah, so for that to just become a piece of terrain, that was a pretty decent chunk and a unit out of my list. But it's all good. I can still use it as terrain. I can still use it up in my display cabinet of Orkdom. So it's all good. It's all gravy. Now, the second army that I keep track of is I have my unfinished army. So unfinished means they're built. I could use them in a game. They've got all their pieces on them, but they're not necessarily fully painted. They could just be plain gray plastic. They could be primered. They could be, zenithal. They could be undercoated. They could even be partially painted. some of them are even kind of fully painted, but I'm not happy with them yet, right? They're not done. Maybe the basing isn't done. Maybe they don't have the tufts on them. Maybe they don't, like, I painted them, but, you know, I really don't feel good about the paint job yet, and so they've been pulled back. But that force, I could still put them on the tabletop and use them. I just, you know, wouldn't be very proud of it. But my unfinished army, I had 5,280 points and 47 units. I now have 5,065 points and 44 units. So there are a couple of units, mostly kit bashes, that I lost from that. Actually, 2 of the units lost were just the knob on Smash a Squig being absorbed into the squad of Squig Hog Boys. That's all it is. So really the only unit that I lost is I was converting a big track or something like that, that now, oh, not a big deal. So what's next? Well, I'm really excited. The 6 new detachments look really fun. I can't wait to get the codex in my hand, really read it, digest it, look at all the different ways that things interact with each other, and come up with the next big crazy idea. I mean, when Index dropped, I'm the one that did the fortress. I'm the one that figured out that Gazgul only took up 1 spot originally because they totally screwed up his keyword stuff, all that kind of deal. So I'm really looking forward to diving in there and seeing what all I can figure out and make cool stuff out of the 6 detachments, and also see if there's any kind of wacky combos. And as for my personal army, I'm actually really excited to paint stuff. I've been in kind of a lull ever since last Orktober. For Orktober, I did a video every day and really worked on painting up my army, and I ended up painting something like 1,500 points in just a month, or 1,200 points, something like, it was over 1,000 points in a month, and it was awesome. But then ever since then, I think I've only really completed 1 unit, and that was Gazgul. So I've been just kind of in this slump for painting, and this has gotten me excited to paint again because my completed force is a good mix of all the detachments. I've got quite a few squads of just big boys that I could use, you know, in the Green Tide. I've got some knobs and mega knobs for bully boys. I've got some Killicans and Def Dreads for the Walker one. Like, I've got my Speed Freak guys. Like, I could do a little mini force of any of the things, and so as I figure out, like, oh, this would be really good to add to my army, I can pull it out of my unfinished and, like, you know, finish it up and add it to my finished army. So I'm really excited to see which units are going to be good for that and which units I'm going to be, like, super stoked to paint and get done. So where do we all go from here? Well, it's it. This just, we're here. In the next day or two, all of us are going to be able to get our greedy little green grippers on a codex, on the Battle Force box if you're lucky enough to get one, on the new Combat Patrol, on the new Big Mek, right? It's going to be super exciting. We're all going to be throwing lists at each other like crazy. If you want to look for a place to get some feedback on that, join our Discord. There's a link down in the description below. It's completely free. We don't paywall it behind Patreon or anything like that. Although we do have an exclusive little area for the paid patrons if you wanted to have your own members-only club. But, you know, that's just one piece of the server. The rest of the server is completely free. We have a lot of discussion going in there right now on lists and helping each other out on adjusting lists for the codex, which is really, really awesome. All right, so everyone, get your codex out there, slap a red squig sticker on it, and get to Wagon because it's finally our time. The time of the orcs has come. Until next time, Wagon!